Welcome to my channel. If you're a first time viewer, please consider subscribing, and a special welcome to all my subscribers and returning viewers. I appreciate you all. Now this video is for educational purposes only and viewer discretion advised, as this case involves child murder, abuse, neglect and some drug use thrown in for good measure. Now this is Victoria Martens. She was just 10 years old when she was horrifically murdered, strangled, stabbed, disembowelled in a bathtub and set on fire. I mean, who does that? Victoria was born to Michelle Martens on the 23rd of August 2006. Now it could be probable that Michelle had a learning disability. She had a low IQ when tested and appeared to be quite vulnerable and easily led. Originally from the Bronx, New York, Michelle was now living in Albuquerque, I hope I've said that right, New Mexico, with Victoria and her 8-year-old brother. Luckily, at the time of this murder, the 8-year-old son, was with his father, so he didn't get to witness any of this, thank God. Now, I'm just going to give you a quick fact here because I found this out. Albuquerque hosts an international balloon festival, a hot air balloon festival, each October, and it's a 9-day event. It actually has over 500 hot air balloons that are so colourful in the sky each year, and it's the largest balloon festival in the world. Okay, that's that fact. Now back to it. Michelle worked. She didn't have a criminal record. She didn't use drugs. She didn't use alcohol. For all intents and purposes, she was a clean living girl. Victoria, she was beautiful, lively girl. She attended Petroglyph Elementary School. She was a popular student. She engaged in after-school activities like gymnastics and swimming. Very well liked, lovely little girl. Now, leading up to the murder, Michelle met David Hernandez. Now, this was 5 months prior to Victoria's murder, and very quickly he moved in. Now, David Hernandez is a paedophile, and it was highly likely he was attracted to Michelle just to get close to Victoria. Now, Michelle, one day, they hadn't been together that long, Michelle caught Hernandez trying to kiss Victoria and immediately terminated the relationship and kicked him out. Now, she reported it to police. They said they couldn't do anything for an attempted kiss. What the hell? This is what Fred Duran said. He's a former APD spokesman. He said, unfortunately, somebody attempting to do something such as kissing the child is not a crime. What the hell? The incident was also reported to the Children's, Youth and Families Department, the CYFD, who also did nothing, despite reports that Michelle called them 5 times over a matter of 8 months. Now, although at the time the incident was reported was an attempted kiss, it was later believed that Hernandez had sexually abused Victoria after she was found to have an STD, and Michelle reportedly confirmed this to her parents. If they had investigated, they would have discovered that Hernandez had previously been referenced in at least 2 alleged child sex assaults, although no charges were brought in either case. Don't ask me why. And also a 2013 attempted kidnapping of a 4-year-old child in broad daylight. Now, the mother was notified. She jumped in her car, gave chase. She chased him down. She crashed her car into the back of his car. He got out and fled. He was later found after a manhunt, and the little girl, thankfully, was unharmed. Police failed to get evidence to Hernandez's turning in time, so that case was dropped as well. God knows. Anyway, soon after, and now only a month before Victoria was murdered, Michelle met Fabian Gonzalez. Now, she met him on Plenty of Fish, and as Hernandez before him, Michelle moved him in pretty much straight away. I'm not sure what Michelle was thinking. It seems she was not being cautious at all, despite the abuse of Victoria from Hernandez. Gonzalez was a very violent man, Gonzalez. He had a criminal record, numerous domestic violence incidents against former girlfriends, and I think there was an abandonment of a child charge there as well. He was supposed to be on 2 years supervised probation, which should have consisted of regular drug tests and not to be allowed to live with another felon. But he was not supervised. Apparently, he fell off the radar. I'm not having much faith in the New Mexico authorities right now. Anyway, moving on. Michelle did not know Gonzalez at all. Now, she came home one day from work and caught him smoking some weed. She said, look, I don't really like it, but if you want to smoke it, please smoke it outside the house. I don't want it around Victoria. What she didn't know was that Gonzalez was also using meth. Now, Gonzalez would get Michelle to drive him around to different locations. He left her outside in the car for hours and disappeared inside various houses and apartments. Sometimes Victoria was with them in the car as well. It was thought that Gonzalez was going into these places to either use, distribute or sell meth. Nice guy. While Michelle was at work, people also reported that there were other people coming in and out of the apartment all day long. And it was also established that Gonzalez weren't even being faithful to her. He was also seeing and talking to other women. What a nice piece of work. Now, just 8 days before the murder, Gonzalez's cousin, a woman named Jessica Kelly, 31 years old at the time, she got released from prison. Seems to be running the family. She's been in and out of prison for about a decade. While she was in prison, she was charged with participated in conspiracy. Oh God, listen to this. Conspiracy to commit rape. She actually got an extra 3 years added onto her sentence. Apparently what happened was her and another inmate dragged a fellow inmate from underneath her bed, so she was hiding under her bed, dragged her into the shower area. Jessica was lookout while the other inmate raped her with a foreign object. Disgusting. So anyway, she got an additional 3 years added onto her sentence for that. She's also got a history of assaulting police officers, DUIs, some drug offences, and believe it or not, this woman is a mother of two. Now, Jessica grew up with parents addicted to substances. She herself was an addict, as was her sister. Father was found dead by her then 11-year-old sister when they were a lot younger. It was undetermined whether his death was related to substance misuse or not. Now, Gonzalez persuaded Michelle to let Jessica Kelly, which is his cousin, move in, and she had nowhere to stay when she came out of prison. Now, Michelle reluctantly agreed. So, unbeknowingly to Michelle, she'd invited two drug users who abused meth, one of which was a sexual offender, and the other was convicted of a domestic abuse. Anyway, 23rd of August 2006 was little Victoria's 10th birthday. Michelle made her cupcakes with her the night before, and Victoria went to school. Now, Michelle spent the day driving Gonzalez around to feed his habit as usual, realised she would not get to meet Victoria off the school bus in time, so she called her mum initially, but then called her back to say she wasn't needed because she didn't want her mother to see that she had moved felons into her home, basically. So she called Jessica, who was at the apartment and had been smoking meth all day, and she asked whether she could meet Victoria from the school bus. Now, Jessica denied receiving this phone call. Anyways, move forward just a few hours. When Victoria got off the school bus, no one was there to meet her, so she walked home alone. Now, she was seen by a neighbour and taken into the neighbour's house. The neighbour called Michelle on the phone and said, I've got Victoria here. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to keep an eye on her? Michelle said, no, it's okay, send her up to the apartment. Jessica's there. What a big mistake. Now, around 5 p.m, Michelle and Gonzalez returned to the apartment. Victoria was in her bedroom. She was reportedly just watching television. Now, about an hour later, Victoria went out to the gas station with Gonzalez, and they got back around 6:20. Then, Michelle and Gonzalez leave the apartment to go to Paradise Hills at about 6:30 in the evening, I'm assuming to buy more drugs. I don't know what's in Paradise Hills, but I'm assuming it was to buy more drugs. And they left Victoria behind with Jessica. Now, about 7 o'clock, Michelle and Gonzalez returned to the apartment, and a few minutes later, Victoria was seen alive by neighbours, and she was playing outside of the apartment. Now, a minute later, Michelle and Gonzalez leave again. Now, at 7:38, Michelle and Gonzalez are spotted near Rio Bravo Boulevard and Coors Boulevard. This is all determined by cell phone records and such forth. At 7:59, they are spotted near 5 Points and Bridge Boulevard, and at 10:09 in the evening, Michelle and Gonzalez arrive back at the apartment. Now, we know that during the time that Gonzalez and Michelle leave the apartment at 7:06, but before they return home at 8:47, Jessica calls Victoria in from playing outside. Now, crucially, at 8:48, 1 minute after Michelle and Gonzalez return, neighbours saw Jessica carrying Victoria out of the apartment and down the stairs, and neighbours say that before she reached the bottom of the apartment, she spun around and carried Victoria back up the stairs. Now, we think this was because she saw Michelle and Gonzalez sitting in the car downstairs listening to music. The medical examiner put Victoria's time of death between 7:45 and 8:30 when Fabian Gonzalez and Michelle were spotted near Rio Bravo Boulevard and Causeway Boulevard and 5 Points and Bridge Boulevard, all by their cell phone records, so they weren't there at the apartment at the time of death. So it was proven that Michelle and Gonzalez was not present at the apartment at the time of the murder, but what was their involvement from there on in? Now, at approximately 4:30 a.m. on August the 24th, it happened to be my birthday, neighbours reported hearing screaming coming from the apartment, which we now know were the screams of Gonzalez and Michelle being beaten with an iron by Jessica. Now, Michelle reportedly ran to Victoria's bedroom looking for her when she was trying to escape, but she couldn't find her and she was nowhere in the flat, so Michelle just bombed it out the flat. Gonzalez, he was already out the flat as well. He got beaten as well and he ran out the flat. Michelle and Fabian ran from the apartment. They were bleeding and bruised. Michelle had a big gash down her in the middle of her forehead from the iron. They reported to neighbour that Jessica had attacked them with this iron while they were asleep and asked them to call 911. Just before they managed to escape the apartment, Jessica turned round and said to Michelle, "Oh, by the way, your daughter's dead." Jessica remained in the apartment. Now, Victoria was laying lifeless in the bathtub. Her intestines were sprawled out around her and other internal organs lay in trash bags around the apartment. She had been strangled, stabbed, and just before police arrived on scene, Jessica had set her body alight. Now, when police did arrive, they could see the smoke bellowing out from the bathroom window in the apartment. And Jessica tried to evade the authorities by locking the apartment door and jumping from the apartment balcony, breaking her ankle in the process. She did not want to go back to prison. In the following police body cam video, you can see 3 police officers with her after she's obviously jumped from the window and she's limping and whatnot. Now, one stays with her while the other 2 go up to the apartment, and you can hear them in the video breaking down the apartment door to get into the apartment. And there they discover Victoria's mutilated body on fire in the bathtub. Now, the police, when they came back, those 2 policemen, when they came back downstairs, were visibly upset when they exit the apartment. I think if you watch the video very closely, you can see one bending over, literally puking up.
Jessica, come here. Come here. Come here.
I didn't do nothing.
Come here.
There's some shit that went down. No, I didn't do nothing.
Hey, stop. Stop. Stop it. Stop it.
I'm scared,
Stop
you
it.
guys.
Get in here, Jeff. All right, relax. Relax.
My leg.
Flipping.
My leg.
Stop it. Stop it.
You guys.
Hold her hand. I got her.
My leg.
Why'd you lock the door?
Somebody just started a fucking fire and went over the fucking balcony, dude.
Look, there's a tent sitting here down.
Hey, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
There's a tent.
Stay right there, okay? Did you jump out the balcony?
Huh?
Did you jump out?
I just fell off the top.
Who did?
I did.
Okay, why'd you jump?
Because. See?
Whose apartment is that?
I don't know, I ate away.
Okay, deep breaths. Relax. Relax, okay?
No. Oh, my leg.
Okay. Because you jumped, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you jump off the second story.
I panicked because he fucking had me.
Well, we said we were the cops.
I was scared, dude.
Well, jumping off the balcony is kind of extreme. What'd you say?
I'm panicking, dude.
Okay, what were y'all fighting about? What were you fighting about?
She woke up and asked where her daughter was.
Uh-huh.
I asked her, I don't know where she's at, dude.
Okay. No, we got her. She's in another apartment.
Huh?
Did you hit her? Did you hit her?
Huh?
Did you hit somebody?
She hit me and I hit her back.
She hit you first?
Yeah.
What'd you hit her with?
Huh?
What'd you hit her with?
My hand.
Your hand? Stay on the ground. Don't get up, okay? Whose apartment is that?
That's hers.
What's her name?
My leg.
Okay, we got rescue on the way. We'll check you out, okay? So whose apartment is that?
That's her, my cousin Fabian.
That's your cousin Fabian, and who else?
Michelle.
Michelle, is that his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Is that the girl you're fighting with?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't really fighting with her. She woke up, started swinging, and I said, hey, dude, I can't find your daughter, dude. Somebody's in here, dude.
You drinking last night?
Yeah.
Any drugs? No?
dude.
When you put her in the car. Hey.
Okay, do we bring my car up then, or?
Hey, put her in your car, man.
Okay. Come on. She's got a...
Dude, the child's 10-7 inside.
Okay. Stay with her, Chris. Okay. Do we bring my car up, or do you want to bring yours up, man?
Put her in your car, man.
Okay. Let's go. Get up.
I'm getting up.
Get up.
I didn't do this, dude.
Get up.
Ah!
Walk to my car.
I can't do it.
Walk.
I can't. My leg's broken.
Walk.
Walk! I don't care if your leg's broken. You're gonna walk.
I can't walk, dude. Hold on.
You're gonna
My
walk.
leg's broken. I just got thrown off the fucking balcony.
You
dude.
didn't get thrown off. You jumped off. I saw you close the door.
And you told me you jumped. Come on.
Dude, my whole leg is broke, though.
Keep walking.
I'm trying.
Go ahead.
Can you advise what we're looking at here? Male, female, close breathing?
Walk.
No.
Female 10.
No. Don't tell me that I have kids of my own, dude.
Doesn't matter. Just pull it. Just pull it.
Hey,
Just pull it,
dude.
dude. It doesn't matter.
Walk. Walk.
Walk!
I'm going, dude.
Keep walking.
My leg.
Keep walking.
My leg.
Go.
Dude, I'm trying.
We'll get you help later. Let's go now.
Oh.
Who else was in the apartment with you?
Another guy. Oh.
Where's the other guy?
He took off. He started trying to wipe blood up. And I started panicking.
Who's the other guy?
I don't know his name. They call him Locote.
Pull up your car.
Okay. Stand up.
George 69. Go for 79. When you get here, I need you to stand by outside on the 808. So let's begin. Copy that, outside 808. On away. 01 to 67, do we have anybody outstanding? She's in custody. You can give me a 21 though, please. Okay, I'm almost 5-6. I have 629 and 639 en route.
Why did you run from us and lock us out of the apartment?
Let's
go. Let's get in the car. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Sit down.
639 is going to be building 4.
We'll get you help for your leg. Broke your leg after you jumped off the balcony, just so you know. Put your feet in there.
Now, all three of these scumbags were arrested at the scene. Victoria was pronounced dead at the scene. An autopsy revealed that she had been sexually assaulted, although this was historical, going back to maybe when she was assaulted by Hernandez. She'd been strangled to death and then stabbed and dismembered, and her body was then set on fire. Now, Jessica's account of what happened is that she was alone with Victoria in the apartment when a well-dressed Mexican man came into the apartment and asked for Gonzalez, saying he owed him and he was there for payback. He then went into Victoria's bedroom where she was sleeping. I mean, hang on a minute, Jessica, a strange man has just walked into the house, gone into a young child's bedroom who you don't know, and you don't stop him? However, she also told the police that she thought the man could have been Victoria's father. Which is it, girl? Now, we know that Jessica had been smoking meth for over 24 hours and she was tweaking. So let's listen to Jessica's account. Now, she told police that after a while, the unknown man then exited Victoria's bedroom, telling her that she had a mess to clean up. Jessica then went into Victoria's bedroom and saw Victoria dead on her bed without a pulse. She carried Victoria out of the apartment, but saw Gonzalez and Michelle sitting in the car in the parking lot. So she carried Victoria's lifeless body back up inside and placed her in the bathtub. Jessica states that when Gonzalez and Michelle came up from the parking lot, she told Gonzalez what had happened. Now, Michelle was oblivious to what was going on around her and eventually went to bed. Then Gonzalez and Jessica apparently took turns in dismembering little Victoria in the bathroom, placing her body parts in black bin bags. Now, evidence shows that at some point during the early hours of the following morning, Jessica attacked Michelle and Gonzalez while they were sleeping. As we know, they called the police. Now, was she thinking, I've killed this child, I might as well kill Gonzalez? According to her, who knew Victoria was dead. And Michelle, I don't know what she was thinking. But at the point of arrest, Jessica maintained that an unknown male came into the apartment and killed Victoria. Now, according to Gonzalez, in his account, he knew nothing about the murder of little Victoria, claims he was out with Michelle, which was proven, came home, went to sleep and woke up being attacked by his cousin Jessica with an iron. Now, evidence in trial, though, showed that there was Victoria's body tissue found on one of Gonzalez's socks, and mixed DNA of Gonzalez and Victoria's blood were found on a towel. Neighbours also said that they heard him on the phone and in and out of the apartment at around 1:30am in the morning, proving he was not asleep. Now, Michelle's account of what happened was all over the place, and in her account she offered up several different scenarios which were suggested to her first, and she basically agreed with them. Her interviews just show how susceptible she was, really. Number one, she states that she was given meth by Gonzalez and Jessica to calm her down so that they could have sex with Victoria. Michelle was proven to have no meth in her system, by the way, and there was no DNA from Gonzalez when a sexual examination was completed on Victoria. On another account from Michelle, she said Gonzalez and Jessica and herself all took part in sexually assaulting Victoria, even adding the comment in interrogation that she enjoyed it. Now, this is a bit hard to believe from someone who reported her previous boyfriend for attempting to kiss Victoria. Also, phone records, back to the phone records, they don't place her or Gonzalez at the scene at the time of death. Then Michelle said that there was a piece of meth left out on the table and Victoria took it and they all covered it up. And on another version, she said that she'd pimped out her daughter for sex to men on the internet. I don't believe Michelle knew at all what happened to her daughter. My opinion is that she was out with Gonzalez and was not present at the time of death. She came home, assumed Victoria was in bed, woke up to an iron being pummeled in her head. That doesn't mean I think she's innocent in all this. She definitely deserved to be held accountable. So what the hell happened to little Victoria? Now, here are my two theories, and these are my personal theories. Theory number one, Gonzalez did have beef at a barbecue with a pregnant woman some weeks earlier, which resulted in physical violence with some men that were there. Threats were made, re-gang involvement. Oh, I'm going to come and get you. I'm going to bring my gang round. So could this unknown Mexican be to do with that? And to further add weight to this theory, 2 years after Victoria's murder, it emerged that there was an unknown male DNA found on Victoria's back, which would support Jessica's version of events involving this well-dressed Mexican. However, this could be possible. I still don't believe that this is the case. My other theory is that Jessica was high, she was on a binge, she was tweaking, she needed more drugs. So while Gonzalez and Michelle were out of the house, she had someone come over to have sex with Victoria for money to get more drugs. I know it's disgusting, but that's what I think. Victoria was found to have alcohol in her system. Although she had no meth in her system, she had alcohol in her system. Was this given to subdue her, maybe? This is what I think happened. But what do you think? Do you have any different theories? Let me know in the comments below. Now, this trial took 6 years to get to court. They all turned on each other, not unsurprisingly. Michelle and Jessica took plea deals. Now, Jessica pleaded no contest in January 2019 to 6 felony crimes, including reckless child abuse, resulting in the death of a child under 12. A plea of no contest, by the way, means that she's not actually admitting her guilt, but she's not contesting the state's version of events. And the state's version of events were that there was an unknown Mexican entered the house and strangled Victoria for payback. That's what they think happened. Now, she got 50 years, 6 years suspended, so 44 years she'll be inside. But included in the plea agreement, she had to testify against her cousin. And she testified for 15 hours on the stand against Gonzalez. Family loyalty, eh? Anyway, later emerged that Jessica talked about cashing in on her broken ankle time of arrest, wanting to sue the state in phone calls from prison. She also spoke about wanting to write a book to make money. God, this person is just disgusting. Now, she also pleaded no contest to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon for striking Michelle with the iron and her cousin with the iron, and tampering with evidence for dismembering Victoria. Now, Michelle, the mother, she also pled no contest to a charge of child abuse resulting in death, and she received a 12-year sentence, less the 6 years for time served. Now, apparently, she was a model and helpful inmate. Wonderful. Now, Gonzalez went not guilty, and while waiting for trial, he was actually released from custody in 2019. He got married and had kids and was living happily on the outside, but he appears not to have changed his violent behaviours. He went to trial in 2022 and was found guilty and sentenced to 37.5 years. And his charges were child abuse with reckless disregard resulting in the death of a child under the age of 12. There were 6 counts of tampering with evidence and a conspiracy to commit tampering with evidence. You know what I can't get that really gets me out of this case? That none of them were ever actually charged for murder. So there was no murder charge ever brought in this case. Is that justice? And all right, so they're all sitting down behind prison, but no one's actually said Victoria was murdered. I don't think it's fully justice anyway. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. So what happened to Victoria it's utterly disgusting. Desecrate her body like that. What they did was unforgivable, and I do hope she's now at peace and free from pain and torture. I really do. Victoria was laid to rest surrounded by a favourite colour, which was purple. It's a sad case, but join me for the next one if you want. Thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. And considering I've said meth umpteen times during this case, please consider becoming a patron because it won't be monetised. Thanks. Toodaloo.